Hello students and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to start a new topic and that is decimals. So we have done a lot of different numbers. For example, we have studied about whole numbers. Okay? And what are those whole numbers? Whole numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So these are called the whole numbers, right? इसी तरह we have learned about fraction. And when we are writing fraction, we write it in the form of 1 over 2 or 3 over 7 or 2 over 6. So these numbers are called what? They are called fractions. इसी तरह when we write the number like this 0.15 or 0.21, these numbers are called decimals. इनको हम क्या कहते हैं? इन numbers को हम कहते हैं decimals. So what is a decimal? A decimal has a whole part. Decimal number में क्या होता है? Whole part होता है and it also has a fraction part. दो पार्ट्स होते हैं, एक होल नंबर पार्ट होता है और एक फ्रैक्शन पार्ट होता है एंड दैट इज सेपरेटेड बाय अ डेसिमल पॉइंट. वो दोनों पार्ट्स जो हैं वो किससे सेपरेट होते हैं? डेसिमल पॉइंट से. फॉर एग्जांपल if we have a number that is 2.5, right? We have a number that is 2.5. So the point in the middle, that is a decimal point. इसको हम क्या कहेंगे? ये क्या है? Decimal point है. And the one number that is on the right side of the decimal point, इस number को हम क्या कहते हैं? इसको हम कहते हैं fraction part. Okay? इसको हम कहते हैं fraction part. And the number that is on the left side of the decimal, this number is actually called whole number part. इसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Whole number part. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide and look into some of the examples. So if we have studied a fraction already, so we can do this question fastly, right? We have a fraction of 10 equal parts and one part is colored. So we will write the fraction as 1 over 10. That means 10 में से one part जो है वो colored है. Alright? In order for this number to be whole, और कितने fractions हमें add करनी होगी इसके अंदर? We have to add like 10 fractions in it. ऐसे ही है? अगर हम इसमें 10 fractions add करते हैं 1 by 10 की, ठीक है? We keep on adding the 10 fractions. तो ये क्या बनेगा? One more. And 1 over 10. So 10 fractions हम 1 over 10 की add करते हैं, then it will become a one whole, that is 10 over 10, and we will call it a one whole. इसको हम क्या कहेंगे कि ये one whole है. ठीक है? So this is actually the whole number. This part where it was 1 over 10 was the fraction part. So when we are doing the decimals, it is going to have both of these parts. For example, in this case, we have a 1 over 10 as fraction. That means 1/10 part जो है, that is colored, right? तो हमने इसको अगर decimal में लिखना है, we are going to write it as 0.1. Okay? So let's look at the second example that's given over here. That is 4 out of 10 parts of the circle is colored. So we have 10 parts over here. We're going to write this in the denominator. And we have 4 parts that are colored. So that means the fraction is 4 over 10. So how many more fractions would we need in order for it to be the whole one number? इसके लिए हमें हम इसको लिख सकते हैं जी 2/10, and then we can write it as कि हमें यहाँ पे 6/10 भी हम लिख सकते हैं. It's up to you. या इसको break down करके 1/10 भी add कर सकते हैं, right? तो अगर हम 6 more fractions इसमें add करेंगे, it will become 10/10. That is a one whole number, right? ये एक पूरा whole. But since we have a fraction over here, we are going to convert this fraction into a decimal number. How do we do that? We simply write 0.4. ठीक है? This is how we convert the decimal number, the fraction number into a decimal numbers. Let's look at the place value chart of the decimal numbers. So basically, before the decimals, we were actually discussing about the place value of the whole numbers, right? उसमें क्या होता था कि if there is a number like 7, 8, 6, इसमें से the first one that is on the right side was ones, alright? The number next to it was tens, and the number next to it was hundreds, right? ऐसे ही हमने place value को learn किया था. But when we have a decimal number over here, the numbers that are on the right side that starts after the decimal point are going to have different place values. For example, if we are going to take this number that is 0.1, उसमें से हमारे पास जो 0 है that is at the left side and it's the whole number. ठीक है, ये कौन सा है? ये whole number है. So that if we are going to put this in the place value chart, we are going to put it under here, that is at ones place. After that, we are going to put the decimal point, and then we come to the tens place that comes right after the decimal point. जो decimal point के बाद फौरन से number आता है उसको हम tenths कहते हैं place value में. ठीक है, we're gonna write 1 over here. इसी तरह अगर हम इस एग्जाम्पल को देखते हैं and we're gonna write it over here in the place value chart, इसमें भी 0 we're gonna put it at the ones place. We're gonna place the decimals and then the decimal point, and then we're gonna write the 4 next to it because that is the tenths place of the decimal place value chart. ठीक है? Let's move on to the next slide and solve some of the questions from the practice that is given in your book. Identify ones and tenths in the following decimal and complete the place value table. आपको two numbers दिए हुए, that is 0.7 and 0.8. इन दोनों numbers को आपने place value chart में place करना है. ठीक है? So we have 0.7. तो ones में क्या आएगा हमारा 0, then comes the point, and then comes the tenth place value, that is 7. इसी तरह हम next number को देखते हैं, that is 0.8. So we're gonna place over here 0, then we have a point over here, and then comes 8 at the tenth place. Okay, let's look at the next question, that is write the following as decimals. ये number आपको fractions में दिए हुए या statement में दिए हुए, आपने इसको decimals में लिखना है. For example, 2/10, then we are going to write it as decimal. It will be 0.2. इसी तरह we have 7 tenths. That means 7/10, right? और 7 tenths का मतलब ये है कि ये कौन सी place value में है? Tenths place value में है. That is after the decimal. So we are going to write it as 0.7. Next we have 0.5. Okay, so we're going to write over here 0, then comes the point, and then comes the 5. So that was it with the practice. I hope you guys understand it. We're going to do some other place values in the upcoming videos of the decimal number. See you guys in the next video.